Hi, my name is Savannah, and my presentation is on STI transmission in America. For my final BHTP paper, I will be utilizing the key components of each behavioral theory that has been discussed in class and convey which theory is the best one for explaining and intervening in condom use and prevent STI transmission. The key theories to my final paper are the trans-theoretical model of change and the socio-cognitive theory. Sexually transmitted infections and diseases are the public health problem that I chose. My priority population is young adults from the ages of 15 to 22, since according to the CDC, 15 to 24-year-olds account for half of all new STD infections. This statistic alone is enough to relate how prevalent STIs are in young adults of America. Certain behaviors increase one's chances of contracting an STI. These behaviors include risky sexual behavior, avoiding condom use, having several sexual partners, and sharing needles and misusing drugs or alcohol. The lack of condom use is partially attributable to poor sexual education at a younger age, primarily in the middle school and high school range. Luckily, through the CDC, many districts in the U.S. have been able to implement high-quality sexual education in middle schools and high schools. In fact, education programs have had an increased presence from 61% to 88% in middle schools and 83% to 93% in high schools. Improving the quality of sexual education and the presence of it allows for the encouragement of condom use in order to prevent the transmission of STIs in the priority population. Educational factors are essential to getting a grip on this national issue, and it is important to address it at a young age so safe sex can be practiced and the prevention of STI transmission can occur. Condom use alone can decrease one's chances of contracting an STI by 80%. The problem with addressing STI transmission is accepting that younger people have sex. A common issue with this realization is that parents refuse to acknowledge it and then never educate their children on the dangers of unprotected sex with multiple partners. Some parents may even be against having sexual education taught in schools. If quality sexual education is attained, then preventative measures can be taken, like using a condom, to prevent STI transmission. Sexual education has to be given in a non-shameful and approachable way in order for the information to be taken seriously with young adults. These are keys to a successful intervention when it comes to STI transmission. My priority population is at risk for STIs because they tend to be in the age group that uses condoms the least, has sex with multiple partners, and misuses alcohol and drugs in high school and college-related settings. Social inequalities come into play when education is discussed. The lack of school program funding in parts of the country are what drive low-quality sexual education, if schools have any education at all. Without proper and high-quality sexual education, misconceptions come about in regard to condom use and STI transmission. So, without uniform, high-quality sexual education across the U.S., health equity will be difficult to achieve. I found that the trans-theoretical model of change to be the theory that best understood where my priority population stood on condom use. Each stage, from pre-contemplation to maintenance, these stages of the TMC can be used to explain where a person is in regard to condom use and then assess what steps can be taken in order to encourage condom use during sexual activity. Low-quality education correlates with the lack of condom use in young adults. So, universal, high-quality sexual education can lead to more condom use. The TMC can be applied directly to condom use and explain which stage of the model a person is in to better understand their thinking on condom use. This can be used to create an intervention that pertains to their needs and current thoughts to better educate them and encourage them to use condoms during sexual activity. Efforts by a study that involved college students were used to find out which stage of the TMC the participants were in so that researchers could use their stage to create the proper intervention. The researchers found that about 76.9% were reportedly in pre-contemplation, about 10% were in contemplation, 6% were in preparation, 1.6% were in action, and only 5% were in the maintenance stages of condom use. Education in middle school and high schools are the primary means of interventions used to encourage condom use. Programs implemented in middle school and high school work to educate their student body on safe sex practices. It is, however, more common in college to provide access to condoms than it is in middle school and high school. A lack of access to condoms is one of the key issues with the transmission of STIs. The study previously mentioned that used the TMC to assess which stage college students that participated were in is a great example for how behavioral theories are used to predict condom use. Not only was condom use predicted using the stages of the TMC, but interventions were catered to participants' stage in the TMC. If they were in the pre-contemplation or contemplation phase, the researchers spoke on condom use and availability. If they were in the preparation phase, researchers gave them condoms and told the participants about where they could find condoms. If they were in the action or maintenance phase, the researchers continued to encourage them to routinely wear condoms and use condoms in order to prevent STI transmission. All of these interventions were administered based on a participant's stage in the TMC. These efforts were successful in changing participants' views on STI transmission and condom use because the majority of them had not been educated on safe sex, and in fact, almost 10% of participants were never educated on safe sex. I think that this is one of the best theories for predicting future condom use in young adults. Another theory that explains condom use patterns is the socio-cognitive theory, or the SCT. This theory uses knowledge, expectations, outcomes, and perceived self-efficacy to assess condom use in young adults. A study researching the SCT and condom use utilized condom use self-efficacy alone, attitude, and the perception of condom use of participants to create interventions. According to the researchers, SCT-framed interventions were successful for improving condom use and avoiding the transmission of STIs. I stand by the primary aspects of the TMC to explain and intervene on condom use. Understanding which stage a young adult is in helps to tailor an intervention that adheres to their thought process on condom use. I suggest implementing universal sexual education that relays information from the CDC regarding condom use and safe sex practices in all public middle and high schools. This type of intervention will encourage self-efficacy towards condom use and utilizes knowledge on the matter, which is a key element in the socio-cognitive theory in understanding behavioral health patterns. An education-oriented intervention has proven to be successful in encouraging proper condom use in the U.S., and the prevalence of education is increasing. However, it would be even more beneficial to continue to create universally effective sexual education material and implement it in public schools across the United States. By educating, programs increase young adults' knowledge on condom use, which plays into the socio-cognitive theory. These programs also increase perceived self-efficacy and self-efficacy regarding condom use, which relates to the key elements of the trans-theoretical model of change. The ethical concerns regarding implementation of sexual education in all public schools are that parents may not want their children to be educated on the matter. Sexual education could interfere with the student's religion, and it can cause privacy concerns for students. I think the best way to avoid complications with these factors is to not ask intrusive and personal questions and provide an opt-out option for kids whose religion intervenes with sexual education. Sexual education is dire to the public school system in avoiding the transmission of STIs. It is pertinent that it is still in schools regardless of these ethical concerns. As long as there is an option for children to opt out or not participate, then I believe that universally high quality sexual education should be allowed in public schools. Below is my list of references.